Hi everyone, it's Becky here. Welcome to another new video on my YouTube channel. So we're having another cycle of rainy days here in Vancouver now in the spring. I'm on my way for lunch to the Hideout Cafe close by the SkyTrain station. It's my first time here. So yeah, this is how I film my cafe sketches. I attach my gooseneck tripod to the table edge and I sketch my cup of latte. Now I'm gonna sketch my mango chicken wrap. So the two half pieces of the wrap are in rectangular prism shapes. So I started with the general outline and the ingredients sticking out from the pocket. So this upside down letter L line is very important to define the front side of the wrap, of the half wrap. And now I'm filling in the inside with these organic shapes of chicken, lettuce, and other ingredients. So there are a lot of rectangular shapes of chicken slices in here, so it's pretty easy to figure out the placement of the lettuce leaf and other greens in here. Now I'm ready to draw the other prism shape of the half wrap hiding behind. Now I'm drawing the folding lines and the grilling marks on the surface of the tortilla wrap. And little bits of wrinkles on the surface with very gentle and quick hand pressure. And the crisscross lines of the grilling marks, using a little bit hatching to suggest a bit of volume and 3-dimension. Now I'm ready to paint watercolors. So starting to wet the opening area with clear water, and I want some quick and loose wet onto wet blendings of orange browns and the yellows and greens together very loosely. Okay, gonna let that part to dry. I want to paint the first layer of the tortilla wrap first. Yeah, it's a really nice bright color of tomato flavored tortilla. It's a blend of orange and red. The second layer is the same blend of colors, the mix of orange and red, but the second layer contains less water. The technique is wet onto wet, so now I have a bit of contrast with the two different tones of the same color. Now I'm ready to go back to the fillings of the tortillas wrap, grabbing some Viridian green to paint the lettuce leaves and also lots of basils in here that makes this even more tasty. Adding another quick layer of vibrant yellow-orange for the chicken cubes. And some more different tones of green. So now I am adding the third layer of more saturated red-orange. It's very much like a nice skin color. Yeah, so it's actually red mixed with a tiny bit of brown for a little bit of shade on the sides of the tortilla wrap. And then using the leftover dark brown color or raw umber to paint these grilling marks on the surface very loosely using the very tip of my brush. Now it's time to mix and paint the shadow color. So I mix my own shadow color with cobalt blue and a little bit of purple, painting it in 2 layers. The second layer contains less water compared to the first. And the darkest tone of the shadow is always on the very bottom edge of the items. That's it. Now, before I go, I think I want to sketch the interior of the cafe in front of me. So on rainy days, interiors or the views outside the windows might be good inspirations to fill our sketchbook pages. So after contemplating the view in front of me for about 5 minutes, I'm ready to make my first lines. When doing a cafe sketch, I like to begin with a customer waiting in front of the counter for her order. So the height of his or her body is going to be acting as a really helpful ruler for the sizes, especially the height of the ceiling, the shelves, and other objects in this interior space in relationship to his or her body. and adding the texture of her furry sweater just so she grabs more attention, attract the viewer into the sketch. Now I'm connecting this houseplant on the little side table beside the counter, hand sanitizer and other little thingies in relationship to her body. So basically the top of the little pot of houseplant is a little lower than her shoulder, and the edge of the little table is around the bottom of her sweater. Now I'm starting to connect the height of the counter edge in relationship to the height of her body. So it's about, the top of the counter is around her waist area. Now I'm drawing other small objects around her body. I think I just drew like a menu in front of her and this plastic covering for social distancing, and also the napkin boxes on the edge of the counter, the pastry shelf. Now I'm starting to add these major interior lines that defines the entrance, the front door of the cafe. So there is a vanishing point somewhere a little above the little houseplant that many of these lines are trying to merge into. Yeah, so it's 1 point perspective. The lines above my eye level, they're going down towards the left, trying to merge into a vanishing point somewhere above the little pot of houseplant. Now I am drawing the dangling lamps attached to the ceiling. And there's like a rustic basket or something and picture frames, and trying to finish this entrance area and more cube shapes above. The stereos playing music and some other small things that I may not know what they are. And the picture frames with a portrait of a lady in there, keeping it really simple. And the back wall area with curtains. And then adding these wrinkles very loosely so to suggest the form of fabric. A little bit accentuation, and finishing the division between the ceiling, the back wall, and the wall on the right. And these lamps, as you can see, they are gradually going down towards the left because of perspective. Everything above my eye level, they're all trying to go down to the left, trying to merge into the vanishing point. Now, adding these lines to suggest the 3 dimension of the ceiling. And accentuate the division between the ceiling and the walls. Now, I'm moving to the very left of the picture to add more interesting details like the signs glued to the plastic covering, and some other things there in the back to create more balance with solid black inked shapes, and finish drawing the right side in general. Now I'm moving on to the middle and the right side of my sketch, the door of the cafe, and these little pictures. And this is the top piece of the glass panel. It's actually the front door. So I actually shrink the proportions of the doors and these frames. When we're sketching in real life situations, we don't have to be like 100% accurate with proportions. So changing the proportions, or even not being 100% accurate with a perspective, is actually a great way to add interest and the style. So this interior in the reference photo, it looks very uninteresting, and my lines are sort of like the reflection of what I see and what I feel the most important things are in this scenery. So I actually omitted a lot of lines and other small details that I think are not so important to me. Now I am drawing this man waiting to order his food and drink. Yeah, so I feel like it's pretty important to add another person on the right side of the scenery to give it more life. And yeah, now I'm starting to draw the view outside these windows. This is the sign of the cafe. Yeah, trying to make it a little prominent and give the identity for this cafe, and more hanging lamps attached to the ceiling. And now I am actually summarizing the essentials of the buildings on the other side of the street by focusing on their windows, which are mostly these rectangles. Now I'm drawing the awning or the little roof of the cafe, and keep summarizing by adding some more simple details of the building on the other side of the street. There's a car parked on the other side, keeping the details super simple and lines very loose, and adding a bit of accentuation around the window frames. There's actually a fridge behind the man waiting, the table edge, and add some little smaller lines here and there to connect the parts even better, especially for the floor area, the tiles. Now I'm using very quick lines to draw the brick pattern of the exterior wall. This pattern also adds a sense of focus and interest for this sketch, and a bit more accentuation for the door frames. That's it for the line work. Now I'm ready to paint watercolors. So the cafe is closing in about 10 minutes, but the owner, she's very nice. She's letting me to stay for as long as I could finish this sketch. And I just painted the blue counter. It's a vintage blue with a mix of cobalt blue and ultramarine blue, and some warm yellows, yellow oranges for the luminosity of the lamps shining onto the walls and the floor. And this orange brown is a really diluted kind. And for the lamps, for these areas are red brown that I mixed with red and burnt sienna. These colors are kind of echoing with the color of the tortilla wrap underneath. And now I think I forgot to draw the drinks inside the little fridge there. Okay. And coming back to watercolors, I just grabbed a bit of turquoise to paint the key colors of the window and door frames here. Yeah, it's a very nostalgic turquoise color. So the painting process so far is a pretty simple and fun play of warm and cold colors. So I just used a diluted version of red brown for the brick wall out there, and a little bit more, like another layer of stronger turquoise for the counter there, and another slightly strong red brown layer for the brick wall, and a slightly more concentrated red brown for the building on the other side of the street. It's one of the heritage buildings of New Westminster. And adding a little bit more concentrated turquoise to give the door frames a little metallic shine. And using leftover gray that I mixed with blue, green, and magenta for the concrete areas outside the door, and also for the awning. And I also used this bluish gray to paint these tiles, which is a really nice checkerboard pattern to give unity for the floor area. And some more diluted bluish grays for the sky out there. And also for these little pictures hanging on the wall. So the ceiling is white, but it does have like a gray scale. So I just used the diluted gray to add it on those square pieces on the ceiling. And putting on some more red brown for some other objects around. 2 quick layers of different shades of green for the houseplant, and turquoise for the little table. Using the leftover gray to paint the shadow of the lady customer. Shade the wall a little bit. And mixing my own purplish grays for the display windows of the building on the other side of the street. Some warmer colors for the drinks inside the little fridge. still playing with a balance of warm and cold colors. Yeah, and I just use a pretty solid yellow-brown to paint the luminosity around the lamps. And she was wearing a warm-colored fur jacket. Quick 2 layers of yellows of different intensities, and she was wearing jeans, as I remember, brown leather shoes, a black hat, and some more leftover purplish grays to paint the men's jacket. And yeah, that's very much it for this sketch. It has a nice balance of warm and cold and also neutral colors, which are grayish. So thank you so much for watching this video, everyone. If you like it, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. And I will see you again very soon next time. Have a great day, everyone.